nature nut, I'm not afraid to admit. I'm wild about the wild things and I'm proud of it. I'm just a simple case, open and shut. No doubt about it, I'm a nature nut. Today we'll go bird watching, tomorrow we'll catch toads. The next day we'll take photographs of bugs along the road. I never get the feeling that I'm in a rut. That's why I'm a nature nut. Well, I'm a nature nut, I'm not afraid to admit. I'm wild about the wild things and I'm proud of it. I'm just a simple case, open and shut. No doubt about it, I'm a nature nut. Ooh, what a beautiful day. This is a perfect day for butterflies. Let's spend today's episode searching for butterflies. You know, most people understand, everyone understands that butterflies are beautiful. There goes one now. But very few people get beyond that. I mean, we tend to think of butterflies as, I don't know, self-propelled little flowers or something, things that only exist to beautify the world, when really they are wonderful, tiny animals with motives, with lives of their own, and there are many, many different species of butterflies as well. Naturalists, nature lovers, people who like these sorts of things, usually gravitate to the study of birds or wild flowers, but you know, when you're looking for wild flowers, you're always going to run into butterflies because butterflies are looking for flowers too to get nectar from. And the birds, well, they're most active early in the morning and late at night, whereas butterflies are most active right in the middle of the day. So why not watch both? You can stay entertained from dawn till dusk. Now, it might sound strange to you to hear me talking about butterfly watching, but butterfly watching is a relatively new thing. You see, it used to be that if you were interested in butterflies, you would become a butterfly collector. There's nothing wrong with butterfly collecting. We'll have a look at the world of butterfly collecting, the world of butterfly watching, and the strange lives of butterflies themselves. I first became a butterfly enthusiast when I was only 5 years old. And you know, I've still got my first butterfly collection too. Look at that. Isn't it ugly? But I treasure it. It's so nice. It was my mother's idea. I didn't know how to collect butterflies the official way. So we decided that what you do is you cut the wings off the butterfly, you throw the body away, and then you put the wings between 2 layers of wax paper and you run the iron over them. And that's how you get this lovely effect. I don't recommend it, but I treasure my first. Look at that, isn't that nice? Swallowtail, a white admiral, a sulfur. My dad caught that sulfur. He claimed it was going 30 miles an hour, and I thought for years that my dad could run 30 miles an hour. No offense, Dad, I don't think so. Just to prove I'm not kidding you here, 1964, John. Nice printing too. So, oh, I've also got, that's why the projector is here, I've got some old 8mm silent film of me with my butterfly net on my 7th birthday in the backyard chasing something, I believe. This net was so wonderful. Here, just a sec. Oh, that's not it. That's black and white. That's a bug jar. And there's Buddy Billy, all dressed up as the guard of the Buckingham Palace. And there we are. Look at that. Still the same great style. My technique has improved a bit, but the basic approach was established at an early age. Oh man, that's nostalgic. Now I did go on to make a more serious butterfly collection, and this is a part of it. This is what a entomological butterfly collection looks like. And I've got to point out to you that this is a collection of scientific specimens, not a collection of trophies. And the reason I say that is that each butterfly has on the insect pin below it, and remember that butterfly collectors don't kill the butterfly with the pin. A lot of people think that's the case. They actually use some sort of painless poison gas.
Anyway, the label on the underside of the butterfly, in this case, reads Canada, Alberta, Nesto, August 2, 1985, J.H. Acorn, and that's a variegated fritillary. And if any other lepidopterists, someone who studies butterflies and moths, wanted to look at this collection or to borrow this collection, they would be allowed to do that too. So in that sense, it's scientific. It's not just a bunch of trophies. I must say I don't have anything against butterfly collecting, especially for scientific reasons. It's still a valid thing to do. But for me and for most other people I talk to, it's just not the right thing to do anymore. We feel guilty about going out there and killing those little butterflies just to make a collection out of them. And you get dirty looks. It's a bit distasteful. So instead, these days, what I've found is I can identify butterflies, I can learn about butterflies, I can enjoy butterflies just as much through binoculars, with a camera. I think you'll agree. Let's give it a try.
There are about 20,000 species of butterflies on Earth, and new ones are still being discovered. Butterfly watching is almost exactly like bird watching, but bird watching has had about a 30-year head start on butterfly watching. It's kind of a strange thing. But you know, before bird watchers were bird watchers, most bird watching was done down the barrel of a shotgun. Because ornithologists, those people who study birds, they were convinced that you could not identify a bird unless you had it stuffed and in your hand in a museum drawer. Well, butterfly people have been like that too, thinking that you couldn't identify butterflies unless they were pinned and spread and curated in a collection. But the fact is, you can identify them with binoculars because, after all you have to do is see the pattern on their wings. That's how you identify butterflies for the most part. Now, any binoculars will do for this purpose, but I prefer binoculars that focus quite closely. These ones focus about 6 feet, 2 meters, something like that. That's wonderfully close. I have other binoculars that don't focus any closer than about 15 feet or however many meters that is. So, close focusing, and also it helps to have binoculars where the front lenses are quite close together. If the front lenses are widely spaced, then you get really close to a butterfly and you can only see it in one eye at a time, so it's not the same sort of pleasing visual experience that you get with binoculars like this. And it's a piece of cake. I mean, you just look at the butterfly. There are, for example, that white over there, there's some white butterflies flying through this field of thistles, and that one has a few dark spots on the wings. You can just see flashes of that as it flies. That means it's a cabbage butterfly, the introduced species of white that was originally European. It gets in people's gardens. And the cabbage butterfly caterpillar, if you swallow one in your salad, sometimes they can actually live in your guts for a little while. Gives new meaning to the term butterflies in your stomach. But don't worry about that. Rarely happens. Probably happens to other people, not you. And the other white that, didn't mean to make you nervous with that, honest. The other white that we have here, I think I see one down in the low grass, has no dark spots on it. It's a mustard white, a native white. That distinction works here. It might not work for you, but hey, that's part of the fun of butterfly watching. In temperate places, there are about as many species of butterflies as there are birds. Some are tricky to identify, but most are quite easy. And by the way, dragonflies will be next. You can identify dragonflies with binoculars too. You watch. There'll be dragonfly field guides before you know it. And that one looks like a variegated fritillary. Ooh, that's kind of a neat one to see whenever you do see it. Cool. You know, because the butterfly collecting tradition is so fresh in the memory of most butterfly experts, it's a bit difficult to find a field guide to the butterflies that's actually intended for use in the field. Most butterfly books, and there are lots and lots of absolutely fine books out there on butterflies, but most of them are filled with illustrations of butterflies that are dead, pinned, and spread in a totally unnatural position that they never adopt in nature. So what's the solution to this? Well, I can recommend 2 field guides to you. One of them is the Audubon Society Field Guide to North American Butterflies, or some such thing, written by Dr. Robert Michael Pyle. And he's done a wonderful job of producing a book that is completely illustrated with photographs of living butterflies in natural poses. And Bob Pyle, he's the father of butterfly watching, the great butterfly guru. Good book. And if you just happen to live or travel in Alberta, Canada, you can buy my field guide, which is Butterflies of Alberta. Also illustrated with photographs of living butterflies in natural poses. And most people that I've talked to have found both of these books, pardon me, extremely user-friendly and easy to work with when you're out in the field. After all, you've only got 5 families of butterflies to work with. So, you know, it's an easy process of elimination. It's either a skipper, a swallowtail, a white and sulfur family butterfly, a gossamer wing, aren't these names beautiful? Or a brushfoot. Piece of cake.
Butterflies and moths form the insect order Lepidoptera, while butterflies themselves belong to the subgroup Rhopalocera.
Silver-spotted skipper. This butterfly, this is his clearing. It's a male butterfly, and the silver-spotted skipper, which is, by the way, the biggest skipper in all of Canada and one of the biggest skippers in North America. You can see why they're called skippers, too. They really skip. He has his favorite spots, his perching spots, and when anything comes by that might be a female silver-spotted skipper, this fellow will chase out from his perch and check it out. Now, he wasn't fooled by that fritillary that just went through the clearing. The fritillary, on the other hand, is not a perching butterfly. It's a patrolling butterfly, always on the wing, always checking out potential mates as it goes. So, and this is, oh man, I just love this butterfly. Although this particular one is a bit worn out, it looks like it's at least a few days old. They spend so much time in high-speed pursuit of other skippers and little bumblebees and flies and things that their scales start to fall off, and they're not as colorful as they were when they first came out of the pupa. That's a great skipper.
All butterflies have the same life cycle. Egg, caterpillar, pupa, adult, egg, caterpillar, pupa, adult, egg, caterpillar, pupa, adult, egg, caterpillar, pupa, adult.
You'll notice I'm not carrying a killing jar or a pinning board, a spreading board, any of that sort of butterfly collecting paraphernalia, but I do have the classic symbol of the butterfly collector, the butterfly net. And the good thing is, you can still use a butterfly net with a clear conscience because you can catch the butterfly, examine it in the hand, and release it unharmed. It's a lot easier than you might think. Butterfly nets come in a number of different styles. You can either buy them or you can make them. Some of them are relatively small with a short handle, easy to accelerate quickly. And some of them are larger with a longer handle, which give you a bit more reach. It's entirely a personal thing, a matter of personal style, which net you choose to use. Now, of course, you may find that you feel a bit self-conscious out in public with a butterfly net. I seem to say that on just about every episode of this show because nature nuts generally do things that other people don't understand. But it's okay. I mean, I feel good about it. You should feel good about it. Nothing wrong with the butterfly net. So let's discuss butterfly net technique. After all, a butterfly net is not the flouncy, wavy thing that most people think it is. To the classical lepidopterist, a butterfly net is something to be treated very delicately. No shame in a clean miss. You know, to most lepidopterists, as you well know, are people who study butterflies and moths because butterflies and moths are Lepidoptera, whereas butterflies alone are Rhopalocera, which makes a butterfly person, a butterfly specialist, a Rhopalocerologist if they're really serious, and a Rhopalocerophile if they're just, into it for... But I digress. The whole point is that most lepidopterists, to them, although they might not admit it, their net is something very personal, very spiritual, with which they become attuned after years of practice. It's kind of like a samurai sword. Haha, that was fun. All kidding aside, though, the only thing that really matters is whether you can catch the butterfly, and that's simply a matter of practice. And okay, now once you've got the butterfly in the net, here's how you deal with it. The trick is to position it so that the butterfly's wings are over its back so it doesn't hurt itself. And then you can gently remove it from the net, holding it either by the sides of the body. Come here, butterfly. There we go, just holding it by the sides of the body quite loosely. It can still struggle, and that's good. Or you can hold it by the front edge of the wings. Now, people will tell you that if you do this, all the scales will come off, the butterfly will not be able to fly, and it will die. But this is not strictly true. It's not happening, so it's not true. And you can see from the beautiful silver spots on this thing that this is a greater fritillary, and by the width of that yellow band between the outer and the inner silver spots, you can tell that it's a great spangled fritillary. First discovered in New York, New York, where everything is great and spangled. So now we will admire this little fellow for but a moment more and release it back to the wild from whence it came.
Down by the railway track, just outside town, where the babbling brook comes a-babbling down. When we were kids, that's where we'd run around, and I saw the butterflies. Some brought picnics and some brought bikes. Some came to party all through the night, undercover from our parents and out of sight, except for the butterflies. Butterflies, butterflies, they watch me through kaleidoscopic eyes. Others saw the flowers and the summer skies, but I saw the butterflies. In April the blues, in May the swallowtails, white admirals in June, it never failed. In late July out come the anglewings, painted ladies and other things. I knew them all the way I knew my friends, among the railside thistles down around the bend. Year after year, just like a time machine, fritillaries within a sunlit dream. Butterflies, butterflies, they watch me through kaleidoscopic eyes. Others saw the flowers and the summer skies, but I saw the butterflies. I was there last year for a chance to relax, a sentimental stroll along the railway tracks. I came to a fence, I had to turn back. The land was all torn up and it was under attack. They were building houses on a cul-de-sac. Metamorphosis has a few drawbacks. Goodbye to my butterflies. Butterflies, butterflies, they watch me through kaleidoscopic eyes. Others saw the flowers and the summer skies, but I saw the butterflies. Others saw the flowers and the summer skies, but I saw the butterflies. Some butterflies spend the winter as adults, while others overwinter as eggs, or caterpillars, or pupae.
Well, what about butterfly gardening? Butterfly gardening is a relatively new thing and it's becoming more and more popular. There are two aspects to butterfly gardening. One of them is a lot less popular than the other, but let me tell you, first of all, what they are. You can, there comes a butterfly right now. You can plant butterfly flowers. In other words, flowers that butterflies will come to for their nectar. And if you plant lots of them and put them in an open spot that gets some sun, at least for part of the day, you should do quite well. Some flowers don't get as much butterfly business as others, like these geraniums. They're pretty, but butterflies don't particularly like them. Others do very well. The lobelias here, these little purple and blue things, the whites just love them. When the lilacs are in bloom, we get swallowtails in our yard, and the petunias get peck skippers here in my yard. And it's great. I really quite like the whole idea of butterfly gardening. The second aspect, though, is you can't have butterflies unless you have caterpillars, and caterpillars eat plants too. So you can, if you like, plant the sorts of things that caterpillars eat, and then make sure not to spray them with pesticides and hope for the best. But if you look in butterfly books, you'll notice that caterpillar food plants are things like unmowed grasses, wild violets, and thistles and nettles and so on and so forth, things that aren't terribly popular with gardeners. But I'll admit, don't tell anybody, I leave a few thistles along the back alley myself.
Some butterflies live only a week. Some live for months and migrate 3,000 kilometers or more. And some live a full year, but stay more or less in one place.
So, I hope I've convinced you that butterfly watching is an enjoyable, rewarding thing to do. I certainly enjoy it a great deal myself. And you know, I just realized I didn't tell you at any point what the difference is between a butterfly and a moth. A very popular question. The answer is simple. Butterflies have clubs on the ends of their antennae, their feelers off their heads, like this monarch does here. Moths, they either have straight antennae or fuzzy antennae. This must be a moth. That thing's a butterfly. Butterflies, generally magnetic, moths are not. Anyway, until next time, happy butterfly watching. I'm a nature nut. Hope you are too. Bye for now.
Well, I'm a nature nut, I'm not afraid to admit I'm wild about the wild things and I'm proud of it. I'm just a simple case, open and shut. No doubt about it, I'm a nature nut. Same time each and every week, uncensored and uncut. No doubt about it, I'm a nature nut.